Okay, so today's video is not about a recipe. It's not about cooking. It's not about even going down to the strip and having some delicious food at one of the many, many buffets that are still to come for your viewing pleasure. Today's video is actually going to be answering all of your questions. I actually asked AI to go search the YouTube comments section for the most commonly asked questions from you guys. How did you become a personal chef? That's supposedly one of the most commonly asked questions. What's a typical day like for you as a private chef? Because honestly, the little videos I do where it's really quick, those short videos, and I'm like, day in the life of a private chef, that's not really my whole day. But I'm going to answer that today. I'm also going to answer a couple of other questions that I know a lot of you ask. For instance, questions like, how do you keep things hot when you're working at a dinner party? Well, I'm going to go ahead and answer that now since I'm on the floor, and it more than likely will be like 30 minutes before I'm able to actually get up. First, when you get to a dinner party, go ahead and put your oven on 170 degrees. Unless you're going to be cooking, roasting something in the oven when you get there, put it on 170 degrees. Now, if you do have something else to keep warm, I have a second way to keep things warm, but we're going to do it after do this. Turn it on 170 degrees, open up your oven, take the item that you're cooking and you want to keep warm, put it in the oven, like so, and then turn off the heat. That will keep your food warm for a good 20, 30 minutes solid. It'll keep it warmer longer, but then it'll start to dry out. Make sure you put a little piece of aluminum foil over it. That'll help with the drying out. Now, if this isn't an option for you and you've got something in there roasting or baking, whatever it is that you're doing, here's the next thing I do. I'm gonna meet you over at the counter. As for the second best way to keep things warm, and probably the best piece of equipment you're gonna take that nobody really ever talks about, is gonna be an electric skillet. Now, I get the large electric skillet because if it's a large party, it's something that's gonna work great because you can put a lot of food in here. It also works great for cooking. Now, if you do take it to a dinner party and wanna cook with it, this is something I would definitely recommend. Now, when you get to somebody's house that you've never been to and you don't know what to expect, and say, for instance, you get something like this where you're gonna have a gas flame. Well, this is gonna be uneven. For instance, if I take the skillet and put it on here, it's gonna be uneven. Is that life-changing? Is that something that's gonna make life overall difficult and cooking impossible to do? No. But what can make your life a little bit easier is just simply, maybe not this one because it's heavy, but just finding even like a thin cutting board. For instance, let me use this one instead. You can take a thin cutting board like so, and then put it right on top of here. So that way you have the cutting board when you need it as well, if you have like a sous chef or somebody helping you, but you still have a more stable pan. That's just uneven anyway. You know what I mean? It's gonna stable. There we go. It's about as stable as my life right now. This next question, it sometimes baffles me, but I have to remember that not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody sees things as clear as everybody else. For me, because my background's in marketing and sales, I automatically saw how easy it was to promote myself as a personal chef. And that's through, well, this. I get so many people ask me, how do you promote yourself? How do you find clients? And I tell them, I was like, literally, it's the freest tool. Is there such thing as freest? Let me know in the comments if there's a such word as freest. Is there a freer than most, freer than more, freer than others? Regardless, social media is going to be the best thing to happen to anybody in business, music, personal chefs, theater. If you have a talent, this is the place to put it, right? Because this is how you found me. It's the same thing with being a personal chef. Why do you think I do so many day in a life personal chef videos? Because I do those because I know people will see it. Most of the clients I have right now found me through YouTube and other social media platforms because I present myself and I show the food that I do, which brings me to something else. For those who want to reach out and say, hey, I'd love to work with you, I'd love to learn from you, I'll work for free. If I go to your Instagram or I go to one of your social media platforms and you have 0 pictures or videos of your food, I'm not going to respond to you. It literally is like a social media credit score. I'll go and say, oh, you've got you on the beach and you riding a motorcycle. That doesn't make me want to reach out to you and say, this person's got some talent. Let's invest my time. So with that being said, you can see that putting yourself on social media is so so valuable. When you set up your business, they always tell you, oh, you've got to have a good web presence. And it is true. You need to have a good web presence. You need to have a strong website. You got to set up your Bing, your Google, your Yelp, your TripAdvisor, all of those things to make sure that your presence and easy to be found. But I would give up all of that for a fantastic Instagram page. And I'm about to tell you why. Before I tell you why, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is going to be Cafe Casino, and the whole reason why I'm able to actually give you this next bit of information. So I personally love checking out Cafe Casino for their fun recipes, entertaining articles, and of course their expert gaming tips. On the Cafe Casino website, there's always something to explore, plus they have free to play games like Build-A-Burger, where you basically stack all the ingredients without letting them fall and hit the ground. Now, I personally haven't won a game yet, but it is a great way to stay entertained, and of course it helps time fly by. Cafe Casino is definitely my go-to for fun and entertainment. Misfits, make sure you check them out now at the link down in the description. I gotta build this burger, man. Okay, so after all this talk of burgers and casinos, I think I'm gonna go get a burger at a casino. Little change of scenery, and there you have it. Built my own burger. So it's so good. Now, to finish up that conversation with the bold statement of saying I would choose a social media platform over a website and traditional like search like Google, Yelp, all of the stuff that people would traditionally use that we've been using for years and it's worked great, but what works better is social media, and here's why. When people go to Google or any search engine to find a personal chef, they already know they're looking for a personal chef. They know they need one. But when they get there, they don't know much about that chef, right? They have some pictures, they might have a little bio, some little stars with the review, but they don't know that chef. With social media, it allows me to show people my personality, to showcase my food, to kind of describe how things work. Also, if they follow me, they're gonna be like, oh gosh, this is something I never even thought about. Let's follow this guy. I like him, I like his food. When it comes time and they're having a party, they're like, you know what? I know this guy on social media that does like dinners, does cocktail parties, does meal prep, whatever need people are wanting, I'm hopefully gonna be the one they turn to. That's why social media is so much more powerful, because it's gonna make people feel already connected to you in a way. I hope that helps explain how I do my marketing, how I find my clients, or more so how my clients find me when they didn't even know they needed me. So for the question of how do you find your clients, how do you market yourself, just post some videos. Post a lot of videos. Next question. How did you become a personal chef? Y'all, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there's no exciting answer. Like, there's no, like, I went to Europe and decided to travel the countrysides and work in the backyard of Noma. No, I like I said, my background's in sales and marketing. I grew up in the restaurant industry. My mom worked as a waitress, a bartender. She actually owned a couple of restaurants. So I've worked everywhere from the dish pit all the way up to waiting tables. Now I've worked in the salad line, I've worked in the grill. That's really it. That's all my cooking background. I primarily worked as a server in most of my life as in the restaurant industry. And I think that's actually the thing that helped me out the most in doing what I do. It's imperative that you're good in front of people, that you're not shy. If you're just a shy, timid, it's not gonna work. It's a show. It's dinner and a show. But how I became a private chef or a personal chef, a friend of mine came up to me and said, hey, my boss is coming over for dinner. I don't want to cook. I said I would have you come over and cook for me since you're the only friend I know that can actually cook. So I did that. I went to his house, I cooked a little 3-course meal. His boss loved it, came into the kitchen while I was cleaning up and said, hey, what are you doing next Saturday? I've got a dinner for 20 down in Houston if you can make it. At the time I wasn't working. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, I can do it. Do you have a card? I didn't bring any on me. He's like, yeah, just email me. So we emailed back and forth, got the menu set up. It was like it was basically an in-home steakhouse experience. So pretty easy, right? Some mashed potatoes. I think we did some roasted asparagus, different cuts of steak we did out on the grill. I got 2 friends of mine that worked in the restaurant industry to come work for me, that they were cooks. They cooked, I ran the show up front. 15 years later, I'm still doing it. Because the people at that party would call me up and say, hey, we loved what you did. will you come back next week and do another party for us? And it just kept going. 15 years later, I'm still getting those requests, but in Las Vegas, which is kind of cool. I hope that was a little bit interesting, because I know that some people are like, oh, what's your story of becoming a private chef? And I'm like, I don't have one. It just happened. Never planned it. Okay, wait. I should back up just a little bit. After that steakhouse dinner, the client walked up to me, handed me a check. Thank you very much. I folded it up, put it in my pocket, because you don't look at money when people give it to you, right? So I folded it up in my pocket. Got to the car. There was like 30% more to that bill because of gratuity. I never even thought about the gratuity side of it. And then I saw that check and thought, I can do this. Let me look more into this personal chef thing. And the ladies that were at the party had already said, we want you to come back next week. So I was like, I better do like a crash course in trying to figure this out. Because I quickly found out there was nobody out there at the time that even knew what a personal chef was. Now, everybody and their mother on social media thinks they're a personal chef, and it's so flooded. And I feel like it's starting to get diluted to where it's not like, I don't know, it's an interesting place that this industry is in. So with that being said, when I opened up the check, when I got in the car, I said, I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Because it was a good amount of money. And I was like, I can do this. So I found a job waiting tables again, signed up for culinary school. They filled our heads full of promises that would never come true. The institution itself ended up closing because they fed us a line of BS and it caught up to them. That's why I tell people all the time, culinary school is not worth it. You want to do it the right way, go work in the restaurant industry. Somebody will hire you. You aren't going to get into like a 5-star restaurant right away, but you're going to get in somewhere. Start off in the dish pit, work your way into it, and it's going to be good. And since we're on the topic of restaurants and stuff like that, I feel like this would be a good opportunity to talk about things like culinary school. Guys, it's not worth it. Go work in a restaurant. Get your experience that way. Somebody somewhere will hire you. I promise you, they need people in restaurants so bad these days, and they're willing to train people. If you go to culinary school, the only thing they're going to teach you is the fundamentals and foundations of cooking, how to hold a knife properly, how to sear and saute, and what the definitions are, and to do P&Ls. And most of that stuff you're probably never even going to do when you get to a restaurant until they're ready to show you their way of doing it. And they may like that you're fresh out of culinary school and you're like, I'm a chef, and they're going to laugh at you and they're going to put you in the dish pit and they're going to watch you cry and probably quit within the first week. True story. If you want to go to culinary school, you really want to go to culinary school, all you need to do is go to a community college. That community college is going to teach you the foundations and all the basics that you need to know to give you a good start into the culinary world. And a lot of times culinary school people will tell you, you should already have a good understanding of most techniques in cooking. That's why I say go to the community college. You're just going to learn the same foundations there. Okay? And since I apparently am in a giving and exposing mood, there's nobody you pay to magically just become one. Any organization you join that says, oh, if you join our group, you're going to be part of a federation or a foundation of personal and private chefs, go join a Facebook group. It's free. If they're like, oh, we're going to give you a patch to put on your jacket, it's called a peace of mind. If that peace of mind of having a patch on your jacket in an organization that's not going to do anything else for you other than give you some template-based information about being a personal private chef, questionnaires, and they have a website that hasn't been touched since the 90s and hasn't updated anything. If you want to be a part of that, go ahead. Personally, instead of spending hundreds upon hundreds of dollars into an organization that's going to do nothing for you, I would go buy some groceries, make some of your best dishes, take photos and videos, and just use your phone. That's all you need is your phone in the beginning, then post. And then once it climaxes at post and it kind of flatlines, then pay to advertise in your local area. Very specific. Again, why social media, in my opinion, is king. It's going to put you in front of your demographic. I could do this all night, folks. All right, let me pull out a little bit of Kleenex. First and foremost, these are my opinions. There are going to be people in the comments that are going to say, I went to culinary school and it was the greatest thing I ever did. It helped me out so much. Great. I'm talking about majority. When I started culinary school, there were 320 people in the whole entire class. By the time graduation happened, I think it was 68, and to date, the only people that I know that are still in it is about 6 people. Those are not good numbers. Again, the reason why the institution I went to is closed. Also, if you find a benefit to joining a group or an organization and paying for it when there are free options out there and you're like, I want to spend that money to be a part of it and get my patch, then go do it. Good on you. This is strictly my opinion. 15 years worth of experience as a personal and private chef, 12 years in sales and marketing. I've got a good nose of when I'm being sold and when there's a line of BS. Okay? So I'm going to do one more question I get a lot of, which I feel will be pretty beneficial, which is what type of equipment do you use for your events? But to do that, I need to be in my kitchen. Well, I don't need to be, but it would just be beneficial. So you can walk with me the whole way if you want. Okay, for the last and most popular question I get about me running my business is the equipment that I use. The equipment I use is surprisingly what you're normally going to find in your kitchen, with a couple of exceptions like a sous vide, the electric skillet. But I'm just going to show you what I use so you can kind of get an idea and see really how normal a lot of it is. I call this my chef's kit. This is a container from the Container Store, and I like this one because it has dual container ship. Container ship? So in the top part, generally, because it fits so well, I use these cutting boards here. Fits perfectly in there like it was made to. Next, you're gonna get some cooking sheets. I use the quarter pans, so you could put them right in here, or you put the full pans in here. Equipment that you're always gonna be using in your kitchen is stuff that you're gonna have in your kit as well. Spatulas, you're gonna have tongs, wood spoons, black gloves. For the bottom part of this, I will actually get mixing bowls. Great mixing bowls. I usually only take like 2 large, 4 of the medium, because the medium bowls are your most popular. And to be honest, the little bowls, the smallest ones, I rarely ever use, but I have them if I do dressings or prep stuff on the side. And those, I'll just go ahead and load this up like I'm going somewhere, fit perfectly. In here, room to spare. Also, you're gonna want salt, pepper, garlic. I put them in these little deli cups. Fits snug right there. Then you can fit in here as well things like your aluminum foil, your zip top bags, colander, very bottom, bowls fit right on top. The bowls won't slide around. Next, don't forget this. These are your knives. You should get a knife based on how it feels in your hand and how sharp it is. Don't buy a knife because somebody says it's the greatest ever. If you hold a knife and the handle's too small, but it's a great knife and the handle's too small, it's not gonna feel good in your hand. It's probably gonna cramp your hand. You won't have the best control. As great as that knife is, it's not the best knife for you. Then, you just package it all up and sous vide if you need it. Also, when you take it to the party, good for additional storage. If you put like your balsamic in there, your olive oil, additional spices can fit in here. And then of course, again, the best thing you're ever gonna take to a party, your electric skillet. That's it. This is, I think that's why I waited so long to do something like this, because even though a lot of people were asking, I'm like, it's really nothing. And then so I just started thinking, well, if it's not really anything, just show them so they can be like, oh, well, that's all stuff I have. I don't have to buy half of it. Let me know what you guys think. Did you think there was gonna be more, or is this more than you thought you would take? Because my whole business is down to this chef's kit, a skillet, and sometimes a sous vide. What equipment would you take? If you're a personal or private chef and you do this, what am I missing? I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, I'll still have some towels and stuff like that I can put in the sous vide store, or even more room in here. Usually I put them in the top rack here, but what am I missing? Put your questions in the comments. I liked doing this video. Did you like this video? That's the question. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. Drop a sub. Hit that, smash that sub button if you got any value out of this. Guys, I really hope you got something out of this. It was fun doing it. I like to go into the casino. It was fun to hang out with you again. And I'm sorry I didn't say, hey, Misfits. I'm just trying to change things up because Culinary Misfits, we love you. It's becoming something else that will be disclosed in the future. Probably be taking this back to Chef Eric James. Lots of growth, lots of things changing. I'm just trying to hold on to it. Guys, I love you. Thanks for hanging out. I hope to see you again at the next one. Yeah, let me know about those questions in the comments. We'll hang out again. Okay, bye.